The alley behind Michael's restaurant in downtown Chicago was a forgotten corner of the city, where the wind howled like a wounded animal and the streetlights flickered uncertainly. On that bitter winter night in 2015, Michael Thompson, a 32-year-old chef who had clawed his way up from nothing to own a modest but thriving bistro, spotted a huddled figure against the dumpster. It was a boy, no more than 16, shivering in a threadbare jacket, his face gaunt from hunger and his eyes hollow with despair. Michael froze for a moment, his breath visible in the cold air. He had seen homeless folks before. Chicago streets were full of them, but something about this kid tugged at him. Maybe it was the way the boy's lips were blue, or the defiant spark in his eyes despite the obvious suffering. Without a second thought, Michael shrugged off his coat and draped it over the boy's shoulders. "Hey kid, you look like you could use a hot meal. Come inside before you turn into an icicle." The boy, who introduced himself as Ethan Harper, didn't resist. Inside the warm kitchen, Michael whipped up a simple bowl of pasta carbonara, watching as Ethan devoured it like it was his first meal in days. As they talked, the story spilled out. Ethan's conservative parents in suburban Illinois had kicked him out after discovering he was gay. "They said I was a disgrace," Ethan muttered, tears welling up. "Told me to never come back." Michael's heart clenched. He knew that pain all too well. He had come out in his early 20s, losing friends and facing whispers at work. But he had built a life anyway, keeping his relationships discreet to avoid the judgment that still lingered in parts of society. That night marked the beginning. Michael couldn't just send Ethan back to the streets. He offered the boy a job washing dishes, a cot in the storage room, and a promise of stability. It wasn't charity. Michael saw potential in Ethan's quick wit and eager hands. Over the next months, Ethan proved invaluable, learning the ropes of the kitchen, his youthful energy breathing new life into the bistro. But as they spent late nights prepping for the dinner rush, conversations deepened. Ethan opened up about his fears of never being accepted, of the world seeing him as broken. Michael shared his own stories. The ex-boyfriend who left because Michael wouldn't go public, the family gatherings where he pretended to be single to keep the peace with his traditional parents. Tension simmered beneath the surface. Michael felt a pull toward Ethan, not just as a mentor but something more. He pushed it down, reminding himself of the age difference, the power imbalance. Ethan was vulnerable and Michael refused to exploit that. Yet, stolen glances and lingering touches in the kitchen hinted at mutual attraction. One evening, after a grueling shift, Ethan confessed, "You're the only one who's ever really seen me, Michael. Not as a problem, but as me." Michael's resolve cracked, but he held back, opting for guidance over romance. "Focus on building your life, kid. Love will come when you're ready." As spring turned to summer, Ethan's confidence grew. Michael helped him enroll in night classes for his GED, even co-signed for a small apartment when Ethan saved enough. But whispers started in the neighborhood. Regulars at the bistro eyed them suspiciously, murmuring about that gay chef and his boy toy. Michael shrugged it off publicly, but internally, it gnawed at him. He had worked hard to earn respect in the culinary world, and scandals could ruin everything. Ethan's family, meanwhile, remained a shadow. He tried reaching out once, a tentative email, but it bounced back. Blocked. The rejection fueled his determination, but also planted seeds of resentment. By fall, their bond had evolved into an unspoken partnership. They weren't lovers, not yet, but the chemistry was undeniable. Michael introduced Ethan to Chicago's underground LGBTQ scene, safe spaces where Ethan could explore his identity without fear. Yet Michael's own hesitations held them back. He feared the societal backlash, the potential loss of his business if word got out about harboring and possibly romancing a former homeless teen. Moral dilemmas plagued him. Was he helping or hindering? Was this mentorship or manipulation? One night, after closing, Ethan cornered Michael in the walk-in cooler. "Why do you keep pulling away? I know you feel it too." Michael sighed, running a hand through his hair. "It's not that simple, Ethan. You're young, you've got your whole life ahead. I don't want to be the reason you regret anything." But Ethan's persistence wore him down, and in a moment of vulnerability, They shared a kiss, tentative, charged with years of suppressed emotion. It was the start of something beautiful, yet fraught with peril. As their relationship deepened in secret, external pressures mounted. Michael's sister, Marie, visited from out of town and sensed something off. "Who's this kid always hanging around? People are talking, Michael." He denied it, but the lie tasted bitter. Ethan, meanwhile, faced his own demons. Nightmares of his parents' rejection haunted him, making him question if he could ever trust love. "What if you leave me too?" he asked one night, curled up in Michael's arms. Michael promised he wouldn't, but doubt lingered. The first major conflict erupted when Ethan's high school friend, now a college student, spotted them together at a Pride event. Word spread, and soon anonymous reviews online accused Michael of grooming. Business dipped slightly, forcing Michael to confront a harsh choice: distance himself from Ethan to protect his livelihood or stand firm and risk it all. He chose the latter, but not without cost. "We're in this together," he told Ethan. But the stress lines on his face told another story. Ethan felt guilty, wondering if his presence was a burden. Months turned into years, and by 2018, Ethan had transformed. With Michael's support, he graduated community college with honors in business management, landing a job at a startup in the city. Their relationship, still mostly hidden, provided a sanctuary amid the chaos. But cracks began to show. Michael, now in his mid-30s, yearned for stability. A home, perhaps marriage, but Ethan's trauma made commitment scary. "What if my family finds out? What if society never accepts us?" Ethan argued during one heated discussion. Michael pushed back gently. "We've built something real here. Hiding forever isn't living." But Ethan's fears were rooted deep. His parents had disowned him over a single confession. Imagining their reaction to a full relationship terrified him. Social media amplified the noise, stories of hate crimes, discriminatory laws in other states. Even in progressive Chicago, they faced stares and slurs on occasion. Michael, battle-hardened from his own coming out, tried to shield Ethan, but it exhausted him. A turning point came when Michael's restaurant hit a rough patch. A rival chef spread rumors, twisting their story into something salacious. Investors pulled back, and Michael faced bankruptcy. In desperation, he confided in Ethan, who suggested going public to own the narrative. "If we stand together, maybe it'll inspire others." But Michael hesitated, fearing it would destroy Ethan's budding career. The decision weighed heavily: protect their love or safeguard their futures. Ultimately, Michael chose to downsize the bistro rather than expose them. Ethan saw it as a betrayal of sorts, a refusal to fight for them openly. "You're ashamed of me," he accused, storming out. They reconciled, but the wound festered. Ethan threw himself into work, climbing the corporate ladder with ruthless ambition. By 2020, he was a junior executive at a tech firm, his salary surpassing Michael's. The power dynamic shifted, adding new tensions. Michael felt sidelined, his role reduced from savior to partner in the shadows. The pandemic hit hard, forcing isolation that amplified their issues. Locked down together, old arguments resurfaced. Ethan grappled with internalized homophobia, questioning if his attraction was a product of gratitude rather than genuine love. "Did I fall for you because you saved me, or because I love you?" he pondered aloud. Michael reassured him, but doubt crept in for both. Moral quandaries arose. Was their age gap unethical? Had Michael crossed a line by getting involved? Society's lens judged harshly, and they internalized it. Family pressures escalated when Ethan's mother reached out unexpectedly via social media. "I miss you, son. Can we talk?" Ethan was torn. Forgive and reconcile or protect his heart? Michael encouraged the meeting, hoping for closure. At a neutral coffee shop, Ethan's parents appeared remorseful but conditional. "We've changed," his father said, "but we can't accept that lifestyle." Ethan walked away, heartbroken, but it ignited a fire. "I won't hide anymore," he declared to Michael. Yet actions spoke louder. Ethan began attending therapy, unpacking his trauma, while Michael focused on reviving his business. Their love endured, but with compromises. They attended couples counseling, learning to navigate conflicts. But societal biases persisted. A promotion Ethan eyed required a family man image, subtly discouraging out gay employees. He faced a choice: come out at work and risk stagnation or stay closeted for advancement. Opting for the latter, he distanced slightly from Michael, attending events solo. Michael understood but felt the sting of rejection. By 2022, Ethan had risen to vice president, his success drawing media attention. Profiles hailed him as a rags-to-riches story, omitting his sexuality and Michael's role. Michael beamed with pride but ached privately. "I'm happy for you, but where do I fit in this new life?" The question hung unanswered. Ethan promised change, but ambition consumed him. A business trip to New York introduced him to influential circles, where networking meant schmoozing conservative investors. He downplayed his relationship, even flirting with women to blend in. A betrayal that cut deep when Michael found out via a mutual friend. Confrontation ensued. "How could you?" Michael demanded. Ethan defended. "It's just business. It doesn't mean anything." But the damage was done. Trust eroded, leading to a temporary separation. Michael threw himself into community work, volunteering at LGBTQ shelters, finding purpose in helping others like Ethan once was. Ethan, alone in his luxury condo, reflected on his choices. The price of success was isolation. Reconciliation came slowly. Ethan apologized, vowing transparency. They rebuilt, stronger, but scars remained. Michael proposed a quiet commitment ceremony, but Ethan demurred, citing career risks. The push-pull defined them. Love versus survival in a judgmental world. As 2023 dawned, Ethan's career skyrocketed. His firm went public, making him a millionaire overnight. Headlines praised the self-made prodigy. But behind the glamour, Ethan wrestled with imposter syndrome. "I owe it all to you," he told Michael one evening. But Michael sensed a shift. Ethan's world now included private jets and elite parties, realms where Michael felt out of place. Social conflicts intensified. At a gala, Ethan introduced Michael as a close friend, a necessary lie to appease bigoted donors. Michael swallowed his pride but exploded later. "I'm tired of being your secret." The argument exposed raw vulnerabilities. Michael's fear of abandonment, Ethan's terror of losing everything. Therapy helped, but real-world pressures tested them. Ethan's parents, seeing his success, pushed for reconciliation on their terms. Attend family events, but alone. "Bring a nice girl," his mother hinted. Ethan refused, but the suggestion planted poisonous seeds. Moral dilemmas peaked when Ethan faced a corporate scandal. His boss pressured him to cover up discriminatory practices against LGBTQ employees. "It's business," the exec said. Ethan agonized. Expose it and risk his position, or stay silent and betray his community. He confided in Michael, who urged integrity. "You've come too far to sell out." Ethan chose to whistleblow anonymously, but suspicions fell on him, leading to subtle retaliation, missed promotions, isolation at work. The strain spilled into their relationship. Ethan lashed out, blaming Michael for pushing him toward risky decisions. "If I lose this, what then? Back to the streets," Michael countered. "I'd rather be poor and honest than rich and ashamed." The fight led to another break, this time longer. Michael dated casually, seeking validation, while Ethan immersed in work, numbing pain with ambition. Reunion came via a crisis. Michael's bistro faced closure due to rising rents. Ethan offered financial help, but Michael refused, valuing independence. "I don't want your pity." Hurt, Ethan withdrew, but reflection brought clarity. He realized success meant nothing without authenticity. In a bold move, he came out publicly in a magazine interview, crediting Michael as his partner and inspiration. The response was mixed. Support from allies, backlash from conservatives. His stock dipped, but so did the weight on his soul. Michael was stunned, pride swelling. They reconciled with renewed passion, planning a future together. But family intervened. Ethan's parents, furious at the publicity, disowned him again, cutting all ties. The loss devastated Ethan, triggering a depressive episode. Michael stood by him, but questioned if their love was worth the pain. Are we fighting society or each other? As Ethan recovered, he proposed a drastic change. Move to San Francisco, a more accepting city, and start fresh. Michael agreed, selling his restaurant for a new venture. The transition was rocky. Cultural shifts, financial uncertainty, but it strengthened their bond. Yet, lurking doubts persisted. Ethan received an offer from a rival firm, one requiring relocation abroad. Alone. The choice loomed: career or love? He turned it down, choosing Michael, but the sacrifice bred resentment. I gave up everything for you, he muttered in quiet moments. Michael felt the pressure, pushing to make their life perfect. They attended pride parades openly, advocating for rights, but personal tolls mounted. Friends lost to judgment, opportunities foregone. A betrayal shattered the fragile peace. Michael, in a moment of weakness during a business trip, kissed an old flame. He confessed immediately, racked with guilt. Ethan, reeling, saw it as confirmation of his fears. I knew I wasn't enough. Forgiveness came hard, through counseling, but trust was fractured. They soldiered on, but the incident highlighted the human flaws in their idealized love. By 2025, Ethan had pivoted to entrepreneurship, founding a tech startup focused on LGBTQ inclusivity tools. Success returned, but tempered by wisdom. Michael opened a new eatery in San Francisco, thriving in the vibrant community. Their relationship, now public, became a beacon for others, but private struggles continued. Michael's health scare, a minor heart issue, forced confrontations with mortality. What if I lose you? Ethan whispered in the hospital. Family dynamics evolved painfully. Michael's parents, once distant, warmed slightly after seeing media coverage. We're proud, son, his father said awkwardly, but Ethan's side remained silent, a void that ached. He hired a PI to check on them, learning they had moved, starting over without him. The news crushed him, fueling a quest for closure. Against Michael's advice, Ethan visited unannounced. The reunion was explosive. Accusations flew, old wounds reopened. You chose sin over family, his mother spat. Ethan left, vowing never to return, but the encounter awakened buried anger. Back home, he distanced emotionally, burying himself in work. Michael sensed the drift, fearing the end. Talk to me, he pleaded. Ethan exploded. You don't get it. You had support. I had nothing until you. The argument unearthed deep-seated issues: gratitude versus equality, mentor versus equal. They sought therapy again, unpacking layers of codependency. Societal shifts added layers. With evolving laws, marriage equality was secure, but discrimination lingered in subtle forms. Ethan's startup faced boycotts from conservative groups, testing his resolve. He stood firm, but the stress manifested in arguments. One night, Ethan suggested an open relationship to relieve pressure. Michael recoiled, seeing it as escape. If we're not enough for each other, what's the point? The proposal was withdrawn, but it sowed seeds of insecurity. High drama unfolded when a former colleague outed Ethan's past homelessness in a smear campaign, twisting it to question his integrity. Media frenzy ensued, dragging Michael into the spotlight. Reporters hounded them, probing their relationship's origins. Michael defended fiercely in interviews, but the scrutiny exhausted him. Ethan, feeling exposed, considered retreating from public life. Maybe we should break up for your sake? Michael refused. We've fought too hard. The climax built as Ethan received an unexpected inheritance from a distant aunt who supported LGBTQ causes. The windfall offered freedom, but with strings, family expectations to settle down properly. Tempted by the ease of conformity, Ethan briefly entertained reconnecting with an old female friend for a sham marriage to appease lingering relatives and secure business deals. He confided in no one, but Michael discovered emails, leading to the ultimate confrontation. How could you even think that? Michael yelled, feeling utterly betrayed. Ethan broke down. "I'm scared, Michael. Of losing you, of failing, of everything." The raw honesty bridged the gap. They recommitted, but with boundaries, full transparency, shared decisions. Ethan declined the inheritance's conditions, donating to charities instead. The act liberated him, but at a cost. Final severance from family ties. As they healed, plans for their own wedding emerged, not lavish but authentic. Invitations went out, symbolizing triumph over adversity. But doubts whispered. Was this the right path, or a reaction to pain? The wedding day arrived in early 2026, a luxurious affair at a San Francisco vineyard, funded by Ethan's success. Guests mingled under string lights, toasting the couple's journey. Michael, dapper in a tailored suit, awaited at the altar, his heart pounding. Ethan, escorted by a close friend, walked down the aisle, eyes locked on Michael. Vows exchanged were poignant. Promises of unwavering support, acknowledgments of past hurts. "You saved me, but more importantly, you loved me," Ethan said. Michael replied, "And you taught me to fight for us." But as the reception unfolded, tension brewed. Ethan's cousin, the only family member to attend, pulled him aside. "Your parents sent a message. They're watching from afar, hoping you'll come to your senses." The words stung, rekindling old flames of rejection. Ethan excused himself, retreating to a quiet corner, where memories flooded. The cold alley, Michael's coat, their first kiss. Doubt crept in. Was this marriage a defiance or a genuine choice? Michael noticed Ethan's absence and found him, concern etched on his face. "What's wrong?" Ethan confessed the message, the lingering pull of familial approval. "Part of me still wants their blessing, even after everything." Michael held him, but inside, insecurity flared. Had Ethan truly chosen him, or was Michael a safe harbor in a storm? The evening progressed with dances and speeches, but undercurrents of drama simmered. A tipsy guest, an old flame of Michael's, made a scene, accusing him of settling. Whispers spread, testing the couple's unity. Ethan confronted the guest, defending Michael fiercely, but the incident highlighted vulnerabilities. Later, alone in their suite, Ethan revealed a deeper truth. During their separation years ago, he had briefly dated someone else, a woman, to test if he could fit in. "It was nothing, but I needed to know." Michael reeled, the confession a gut punch. "Why tell me now?" Ethan replied, "Because today, I choose you fully, no secrets." Forgiveness wasn't immediate. Anger and hurt boiled over into a heated exchange. "You've betrayed me in ways I can't forget," Michael admitted. Yet, in the vulnerability they found catharsis. The night ended not in passion, but honest dialogue, reaffirming their bond amid the wreckage. In the following weeks, they navigated honeymoon bliss tainted by reflection. Ethan's startup flourished, but he stepped back, prioritizing balance. Michael's restaurant became a hub for community events. Their story inspired many, but personal costs lingered, lost relationships, emotional scars. Society applauded their union, yet subtle prejudices persisted, reminding them the fight wasn't over. Years compressed into moments of growth. Ethan occasionally wondered about alternate paths. What if he had reconciled with his family? Michael pondered if openness earlier could have spared pain. But they pressed on, their love a testament to resilience. As the sun set on their new life, one question lingered, sparking endless debate among those who knew their tale. Was sacrificing family and societal acceptance for true love a righteous choice, or a selfish one that perpetuated division?